Oh, yes.
Welcome back once again, everyone. Today I'm excited to bring you a review for the new Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Core Class Vertebreak. Vertebreak is number 3 in the Kingdom line, and she is a Predacon who takes the form of a fossilized Dracorex, or at least I hope that's how you pronounce it. Dracorex, I'm not sure, honestly. And as you may be able to tell, my package is severely damaged and warped. Now, this is probably the part where you expect me to bash Amazon for mailing it in a bubble wrap again. But I won't do that, because they mailed it in a box. And it still somehow ended up like this. So now I'm just thinking that I must have really made somebody at Amazon very unhappy. I don't know, I must have like canceled too many pre-orders or something, because how? Anyway, if you've seen my reviews before, you know how this goes. We're going to take a look at Vertebreak's packaging, then we'll open her up. We'll take a look at the instructions, and we'll see Vertebreak herself in both her beast and robot modes. Not really a whole lot to compare her to, because she's kind of the first of her kind. And then at the end of the video, I'll give my final thoughts. So her packaging is what you'd expect for a core class toy from Kingdom, just a little blister card. Get this nice artwork of her fossilized robot mode on the front, or sorry, dinosaur mode. I don't know if she's technically considered a fossilizer. I thought those were defined by their ability to break down and become armor and stuff, but maybe not. Maybe it just refers to all of the skeleton dinosaur things. You have what appears to be the Nemesis crash landed in the background, so that's the first time I've seen that. And you got some kind of like viney overgrowth. So it's a cool picture. I dig it. You get to see Vertebreak right here, front and center in the robot mode. Got the tail weapon off to the side. You can see the Predacon symbol there, which is really exciting for me. Get some Beast Wars love. On the back you get the renders. And she actually takes 14 steps to transform from beast to robot and back. So that's cool, nice and complex for a little toy. Renders, I think, do the toy justice. A little bit more brightly colored, but I think the final product ends up looking better. Actually looks like a fossil. And you get like this little Predacon cave drawing thing here. And overall, it's just a neat little package. Okay, so here's our little instruction booklet for Vertebreak. See, it's got this little render of her on the front, got her name, Predacon symbol, weird glyphy rune thing under her feet. I wonder if that's going to become significant. You see that on all the Kingdom stuff. Alright. The first thing you see is a how-to for wielding her tail weapon or storing it on her back in robot mode. And then, let's fold up, you get right to the transformation from her robot to dinosaur mode. This really doesn't want to stay open. Yeah, it just goes all that way, you plug the tail in, and then you get the final render. So not much to it, you know, it's a core class, pretty simple. And now we get the beast mode for Vertebreak. And you can see it's very detailed. Lots and lots of sculpted detail here. All sorts of bumps and, you know, ridges, spines, things like that. And the coloration is done very well. You have different gradients of this very dark brown to kind of like a medium brown, but it's like a grayish color. It very much looks like a real-life fossil, and the colors that you'd expect those to be, instead of just bones. As far as articulation, there's not a whole lot in this mode. The arms are static here. You do get leg articulation at 3 points. You get the hips, the knees, and then ball-jointed ankles. And then the head can lift up and down, this much. And the jaw does move. Now the jaw is made of that very soft rubbery plastic. So I would recommend kind of moving it by the very base. Don't grab it by here because you might bend it and break it. So it will move. When you leave it static for a while, it tends to kind of get stuck in place and requires a little more force to move. Once you loosen it up, it's pretty good. So yeah, you get a whole lot going on here. Very, very nice. Not a lot of obvious robot kibble. You do get the arms underneath, but they're very much made to blend in and look like part of the skeleton. Even the hands just look like part of the pelvic area here. So overall, I'd say this is a very well executed beast mode. I like it a lot. Now, the fact that it's a skeleton, I think, you know, kind of helps to get away with some stuff. You don't have to cover everything in skin. But, you know, it's still good regardless. Now for transformation, it's pretty simple. First thing you want to do is remove the tail. So you just pull it out. It's on a little 3mm post with a 5mm around it. Go ahead, straighten out the legs. Get her standing somewhat normally, like so. And you want to open up the rib cage and little dino arms. Swing the robot arms out to the side, like this. So you got all this going on. And you want to pull this little back piece or spine back. Bring the dino head, you're going to shut the mouth, bring this all the way down, and then bring this little flap down on top of it. The head you're just going to flip up, close the back panel, and then the weapon you can either store on the back using these little nubs and just plug them in here, like so. Or you can have her wield the weapon directly. And she, despite being a little core figure, actually has 5mm holes in her hands. So far, the other two I've seen only have 3mm, so that's interesting. She's got big old hands, which means she's much more compatible with accessories from larger figures, which is great. And then there you go. You get this really cool looking little robot. Her articulation in robot mode is even better than the beast mode. You get fully ball jointed shoulders and elbows. The legs remain the same, and her head moves around also on a ball joint. So, you know, pretty standard for a small figure. No waist articulation because of the way she transforms, but I wouldn't expect it at this scale, honestly. And yeah, she just got great proportions. She's very spindly, but you know, she's a skeletal character. One thing I'm not really sure what the inspiration is for. So you see her head, it's kind of got this pointy bit in the back, this like panel that just juts up, and it looks like a piece of bone or something. I'm not really sure what it's for because it gets tucked away in the dino mode. You know, when I first saw the pictures, I thought this must have been part of like the, you know, dinosaur jaw or something, but it's not. It's just there. I mean, it looks fine. I just don't really understand it. So yeah, very simple little thing. She will look really good with your other fossilizers, with your Predacons. She'll scale well with characters like Rat Trap. Now, the core figures are kind of separated in like two groups. You have the ones that are core because they're just small characters like her or Rat Trap, but then you also have core figures that are downscaled larger characters like Optimus Prime and the future Megatron and Starscream. I think Soundwave's coming in a future wave. So, you know, she is meant to scale with your larger figures. Now, again, because of her small size, she doesn't have the fossilizer gimmick. She doesn't turn into armor or weapons or anything. So I'm not sure if she's still considered a fossilizer. I don't know if that pertains to the weaponizer type feature or just fossil-based characters themselves. I haven't been very clear on that. So maybe we'll get an answer on that sooner rather than later. And yeah, that's really about it. It's a very simple figure. Very much harkens back to the basic size Beast Wars figures of the 90s. Right down to the amount of articulation she has, relatively simple transformation. She really feels like something straight out of Beast Wars, and I love that. I love that we can go back years later and give you something that like you could put on a Beast Wars shelf and it would not look out of place. The only thing that might be a little odd with her is that she would be the only like fossilized beast amongst them. Dinobot 2 has a skeletal appearance, but he's not really a skeleton. It's just the way he's built. I don't know. But I think she looks fantastic. I'm really excited for the other new characters that are going to be introducing, the other fossilizers, anything else that pops up. I think this is going to be a very good year for Transformers in 2021. The last 2 years have been fantastic. Siege was awesome. Earthrise was awesome, though admittedly seemed to have been hit by some budget cuts. And Kingdom is just a crazy grab bag of G1 and Beast Wars, so a little bit of something for most people. Now, there is a rumor that if Kingdom does well, we can look forward to more Beast Wars toys in the coming years. We don't know what their plans are beyond this current trilogy, but I'm kind of guessing it's going to be something like a Thrilling 30 or just general Generations type setup where it's just going to be different characters. Could be wrong. But, you know, the same rumors state we're going to get some characters like Lio Convoy, potentially. And some others that just didn't make the cut for Kingdom since it had to split its attention between two very different generations of Transformers. And if that's the case, I hope not only do we get some existing Beast Wars characters that just haven't been, you know, updated yet, but also some new characters like her. this is a really good thing. It's a way to flesh out those maximum Predacon ranks. And, you know, Beast Wars fans, they're hitting that age now where they're going to be more marketable, they're more bankable for Hasbro because now they're older, they have disposable income. You know, Beast Wars fans are mostly, what, in their 30s now, so they should, in most cases, be able to, you know, pick up these things for nostalgia. And you can bet Hasbro's going to capitalize on that. Just like they're doing for Gen 1 right now, just like they're going to do for, you know, probably Unicron Trilogy in the next few years, once those people come of age. So I'm looking forward to it, and if she is a look at, you know, what's coming, I think it's going to be a good future. Of course, that is just how I feel about this toy. Now, what I want to know is what you think of this new little fossilizer. Do you see her as being worthy of your $10? Do you think she's got a really neat design? Do you think it's too simple or just right? Any and all feedback's always welcome in the comment section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like. Let YouTube know you want to see more stuff like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. And thank you for joining me for this look at the brand new Transformers Kingdom Vertebreak. And with all that said, I will see you next time.